It's really, really hot out. I've been trying to keep everything watered today. Got my tomatoes. Getting a fresh drink right now. Anyways, I wanted to show you guys, now that it's cooled off a little bit, even though it's still 90 degrees out, there's a nice breeze. Wanted to show you what I've been doing different in the garden. I've been noticing that with these cinder blocks, I've been doing some research. I think they might be making my soil a little bit too acidic, or not acidic, sorry, alkaline. There is typically fly ash added to cinder blocks when they're made, and it can leach out over time into the soil and alkalize it. And I think that could be why my vegetables just have not been doing good the last few years. Typically in just this cinder block raised bed section. Everywhere else, they seem to be doing okay. So, I mean, I guess I could have gotten a soil tester and tested the pH of the soil, but I just went ahead and decided to convert these into flower beds and grow my vegetables elsewhere. I'm going to build a couple of cedar raised beds and see if those work any better. So it's just a little experiment that I'm conducting. And besides, I wanted to bring in some more color to the garden anyways. Flowers have always been my number one, what do you call it, passion, I guess, in the garden. And then food kind of came second. I'm still going to grow food, don't get me wrong, but I'm going to focus on some flowers here, I think, for the remainder of the season. And I'm going to be building my 2 new boxes. One right here is about 6 feet long, and then another one on the other side of this pot about 6 feet long as well. So there's going to be 2 big raised planters up there, all made out of cedar, filled with really good organic compost. And that's where I'm going to be planting some more vegetables in the years to come, as well as this fall. So I wanted to take you around and see what's new. So I planted most of the stuff yesterday and today. This is a heuchera. This is a coral bell. And it's, I think, called Everlasting Purple. Really, really pretty. I've never seen a purple leafed bush like that. And then I have a fuchsia. Coreopus, or no, I'm sorry, this is Crocrosmia. These are really neat. The hummingbirds really like these. This one might actually be, yep, this is actually the Coreopus. I noticed that color went so well with the zinnias. Got a little bee there just hanging out. I tell you what, all the all the bees and the pollinators and the butterflies are just really loving all the new flowers that I've planted here. And I'll be phasing out these onions. I just really wanted to see the blooms. They're flowers as well, so anything that's flowering I want to keep. These are really cool. These are echinacea, also known as coneflower, but the variety is Cheyenne Spirit. If I can get in there. And they have like, they turn different colors. You can kind of see how this one's kind of like a coral color. This one's more like the traditional pink, and another coral, but all on the same plant. They change as they mature. So I thought that was really, really cool, because I like to get lots of color on the same plant is always a bonus. And the bees are just all over this. I was out here earlier and there was bees in almost every single one of these little openings here. They just really get all the way down in there. And this is called a penstemon. And then I got a delphinium and some milkweed for the butterflies. I've always heard milkweed is one of the butterflies' favorite, and I've never actually had milkweed. So this is my first milkweed plant. I just thought it was really cool because, again, there's these real pretty like orange, but then before they open they kind of have this pink corally look to them. So once again, two different colors on the same plant. I just thought that was really cool. And then I got a hibiscus, which I have to deadhead. These big awesome flowers come just, there's a bee under there. Look at that. They're huge. And they're so delicate and ruffly, and I just love them. These smell really, really good. These are lilies, of course. Some sort of like stargazer lily. And then I put baby's breath right next to those. I just thought the baby's breath would look really nice. Oh man, it just smells so good. I wish you could smell it. So that's this bed. Moving on to the other side of this one, I've got a white Cosmo. Some sort of bug on it. Oh wow, mating bugs looks like. They're getting it on my Cosmo flower. I don't know what kind of bugs those are. Maybe June bugs? Not entirely sure. And then more coneflower. And just look at the color on that. It's so pretty. More zinnias. And this is one of my new favorites. I'll show you one that's already kind of in bloom. This one's not yet, but oh, I don't see the tag. I'll have to show you the other one. So, okay, here it is. The other one must not came with the tag. But you can see these they kind of got fried in this 90-degree weather, but they did look a lot better. They're kind of just like pink, a pink kind of just very airy growth habit type of plant. And these are, let's see, you can't really see that. It's so bright out. I don't really know how to pronounce that, but that's what it is. Really cool. My dad has 4 of them grown in pots in his front yard, and they get really big and bushy and just full of those pink flowers. So cool. This is just an annual. Not really sure how to pronounce that one either. I'm not even gonna try. Of course, lavender. You gotta have lavender. It smells so good. And then this red is a lobelia, believe it or not. Now, I've always known lobelias to be this stuff here. This little dainty annual stuff, but I actually found this perennial that's a lobelia. And look like all those flowers really got scorched in the heat today too, but they'll make new flowers. Got other coreopus. Got a nice bell pepper growing. I just left that one in there. I converted this bed into a flower bed, but I figured out the bell pepper was doing pretty good, so I left it there. More zinnias. Gladiolas. And then this is more of the traditional echinacea, or the standard purple cone flower. And so with my conversion of these beds into flower beds, my idea behind it is to put mostly perennials. So year after year, ooh, look at that. Wow. that's been hiding. I'm glad I've seen that before. The birds. These are the best, in my opinion, raspberries. These golden raspberries, they are so good. Sweet, juicy. You can pick them in almost any stage. Just a little bit of color, and they're sweet. Unlike the red ones, they really have to be red before they kind of get sweet. So good. So back to what I was saying, I'm really looking for something low maintenance. So I'm thinking things that I don't have to plant every single year, that will come back bigger and better, and just less overall maintenance. So I figured the more perennials that I can plant, the more ahead of the game I'll be. And so that's kind of my idea here. If you guys recall, before, these were those really sad container grown zucchinis, and they have no trace of being sad anymore. They're perfectly green. I was just picking a couple of zucchinis off them earlier, but look at the size of this already. So it's been here about 2 weeks, and we already have zucchinis. They've all greened up. They've lost all signs of ever being sad and unhappy in those containers. Of course, who doesn't love lilies and the smell of lilies? They're probably my all-time favorite flower as far as smell goes. I do love orchids as well. So my cabbages are doing really good. They're getting some nice heads on them. Had a little bit of an aphid problem. Not that bad. Just sprayed it with a little bit of neem oil and took care of it right away. It's all organic. I only do organic gardening here. And the peas are just about done. Although, can you believe it? We're almost in August. Today is July 26th. And these are perfectly good peas still, and they're all over in here. I can do another second harvest. I thought I had picked the last of them, but I mean, they're just doing really, really good. Usually by now they're looking more like this one here, pretty much ready to be yanked out, and then I'm saving all these for their seeds. Pretty cool. Oh, these guys are really friendly. So we rescued these. They're twins, and we got them from the Humane Society. And I haven't really given them names yet. We just call them the littles because they're very small. I think they're part partridge hen, which is kind of on the Banty side of the chicken family. But they're very friendly. This one likes to come up, and she knows I always have something ready for her. She likes the raspberries that the birds kind of pick out. I don't really eat those ones, but yeah, she really likes them. Very gentle, very docile birds. Oop. And then there's Big Bertha in comparison. No, actually her name is Waddles. Okay, now I gotta give Waddles some. Take you over to look at my lilies. There are lots of raspberries in here too. These are really pretty. I just love these. I love that spotted contrast. Just excuse my munching. Oh, it's a really sweet one. So, the Brussels sprouts are doing really good too. They're developing little Brussels sprouts in there. Some of these ones are bigger. You can see them in there doing their thing. And then, I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but I planted these from seed. These plants here, and I planted them. The package said ground cherries, and I know what ground cherries look like. I've grown them, I've eaten them. These do not look like ground cherries to me. Maybe you can tell me what you think they are, but I think that they are either Chinese lanterns, or, I mean, the ground cherries I'm used to seeing, these husks are only about like that big. I have not broke them open yet. I don't think they're ripe. I can't really tell, but they feel, you know, about that big in there. Either Chinese lanterns or, but I think those are orange, so I don't think these are Chinese lanterns. I think they could be tomatillos, maybe. I don't know, maybe they are ground cherries, but they don't look like any ground cherry I've ever seen or grown. So it'll be interesting. I'll have to get on video popping one of these guys open and seeing if they really do make a ground cherry. Nothing really new over here. The peas have just about had it. They're all turning yellow and dying. I need to pull all those out, and then I'm really not quite sure what I'm going to plant up that trellis yet. I would like to do a fall garden, and I'm not sure if I have time for beans. Maybe if I just throw another crop of peas in there, they might be ready in time before our first frost. So the mullein are just really taking off. They're probably up to about 4 feet right now. I'm just getting ready to. Oh, we got an ant in there, and then we have a spider. I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, this is a granddaddy. That one's huge. Oh, and a bee, providing nice habitat for all the insects here. Even this big volunteer mullein. This is also a volunteer. I keep meaning to do a volunteer video. I have so many volunteers in this garden that I would like to share with you guys that have just decided to grow here on their own. But we'll get to it. I've got lots of content. It's just a matter of sitting down and editing the videos. They really do take some time. Sunflowers doing good. All the asparagus I let go to, I don't know if I would call it go to seed. Well, I guess they are kind of going to seed. You can see the little dingly things. I think this is a male. You can see all the little kind of like debris hanging down, and then there should be, oh, here we go. I would assume this is a female, and it puts off these like little berry things that do turn red. And I mean I would assume that you could plant them and get asparagus, so I wouldn't call them berries, I would call them asparagus seeds. But I always heard that it's better to grow asparagus from the plants instead of the seeds. I just think it takes a long time, a lot longer, when you plant them from seed. I've not tried these yet. These are indigo rose. They definitely didn't look ripe. Very interesting color. I got purple. I have to say, the view from right here, this bench that I usually sit on, looks a lot better without all that plastic hooping that I had, and instead I get to look at beautiful flowers. The only reason why I had that plastic hooping on to begin with was so that I could cover it up at the beginning of the year and the end of the year to prolong the growing season for my vegetables, but I don't really have vegetables in this section of the garden anymore. So, I mean, I still have food. I've got raspberries, I've got peas, Brussels sprouts, grapes, more peas, asparagus, peppers, blueberries. Over there I have apple tree, beans, all kinds of stuff, a whole bunch of stuff. The blueberries are off the hook. I wish you could see the size of these. Oh, these aren't even the big ones, but they were a lot bigger. They're just Really doing good this year. They get a lot bigger than this. If you pick them early, they kind of aren't as sweet as they should be. But I've put this netting on because the robins keep getting in. They get in anyways. I don't know how those little suckers get in, but they do. And then I just put like a little marker where I've made like a little slit, and then I just put my hand right in. I don't think the birds are smart enough to get in that way. I think what they're doing is they're getting in from underneath. And this is the granddaddy blueberry. It's just huge. And the blueberries are big too. This is one of the biggest blueberry varieties that there is. I think it's called Chandler. And the one I just showed you is kind of one of the smaller ones. I don't really think there's any I think I picked all the biggest ones off this morning. Not really seeing. But I tell you, this hot weather we've been having has really helped to turn them sweet. Oh look, oh wait, I do have an opening. Let me see if I can get this one. My other hand. This is a pretty good sized one. But again, that's kind of on the small side for this variety. Like I said, I picked all the bigger ones off earlier. I really encourage you to plant perennial fruit-bearing bushes, such as raspberries, blueberries, strawberries. I don't think you'll be disappointed at the production that you get. Here's another good size. Oh, I'm stuck. Uh-oh. Gah. Okay. Let's see if I can get out of this mess. I seem to have gotten my bracelet stuck in the netting. Let's see. Aha. There we go. Okay, let's see if we can do this without getting caught this time. Okay, these look like some pretty decent ones. One in the back, it's a good size. Yeah, these make the best breakfast, or you can pop these in some smoothies. Ooh, look at this one. That's a good one too. Oop. Okay, so not bad. And the sunflowers, I did not know these were multiple-headed sunflowers. I don't think they were supposed to be, because I bought them as mammoth gray stripe, and these don't look like mammoth gray stripe to me. I've grown them year after year, and these don't look like that. So I don't know. It seems really weird. Like there was a couple of seed packets, the ground cherries and the sunflowers that I planted don't look like anything I've planted in the past. The smoke bush is really taking over the wisteria. I gotta really trim that down. And then I have some tomatoes. I'm really excited about these ones. They sound really delicious. Chocolate cherry and orange strawberry. So there's one in here. Another one. Just little guys. I don't think they're gonna get too big. Nasturtiums, huge nasturtiums. More raspberries. I just love these golden raspberries. And then in here, I have purple Peruvian potatoes. I'm just kind of leaving them in here. I don't really need them. I've got bucketfuls of them in the house, so I think they last longer in my damp soil than in my house. And then these beans are really taking off. And I've also been training the nasturtium to go up the trellis as well. And they're actually pretty good little climbers. They don't have any tendrils or suction cups or anything like that, but if you just keep on tucking them in, they continue to trail. But one thing you do not want to do is bend them very hard, because they will snap. Wow, I just did a harvest of these green beans 3 days ago, and they're already ready to be harvested again. But this was my vision, guys. I wanted to see an archway with dangling food, and I got it. That's so awesome. And then I didn't expect the nasturtium. That was just kind of an added bonus. Lots of volunteers in the compost. Got the potatoes, oregano, some more nasturtiums, this tomato bush. I finally just put this guy up on a string, and I'm just going to kind of let it vine up. And it looks like that it's some sort of cherry tomato, and I'm really hoping that it's a sun gold, because I really like sun gold tomatoes. The cilantro is going to seed. Lots of insect action. I don't know. You can see that. They're kind of small. Alright. Take you over to this section. I guess we're kind of doing a garden tour. I was just going to talk about the new flowers I put in, but this is the hugel bed. Doing really, really good. And just look at the size of this. I can't even pan out far enough to show you, but that's rhubarb. And I just harvested a bunch of zucchinis this morning. The fuchsias are all doing really good. They're just about done. Just the tips have flowers. But the hummingbirds, love them. Unfortunately, this is the spot where the cat comes to stalk the hummingbirds. And then I just picked this up at the nursery a couple days ago for like 20 bucks. It's called a pink lemonade high bush blueberry. And I just trimmed it up really good. It looks kind of sparse right now, but you really got to trim them early on their development, or they will just kind of just look unruly and out of control. So I cut it back pretty good, but it's going to have a nice form once it starts to rejuvenate and push up new shoots and stuff. So I'm not quite sure where I'm going to plant that. The dogwood's getting greener. Not too much new growth, but that's okay. It's still establishing. I keep getting those moles that keep tunneling up underneath, and they totally went around in a ring. So you know, there's probably some air pockets in there now, and some root damage. I'll tell you what, whoever figures out how to get rid of moles would be a millionaire. Something that actually works, because I'll tell you, I've tried everything and nothing works. Got a pumpkin. Some wild thimbleberries. I really need to cut back all this oregano. It's starting to go to flower. And same thing with over here. Okay, now this is a ground cherry. This is what I'm used to seeing a ground cherry look like. I mean, they don't call it a ground cherry for nothing. It's very low to the ground. The fruit falls on the ground when it's done usually. Looks nothing like what I'm growing over there. So we'll see. We'll see what we get. The pineapple guava looks like it's doing pretty good. It's adapting to the hole I put it in. Jack-o'-lantern pumpkins doing good. Of course, the kiwis just kind of always look the same, but they do get a little bit more longer. Yeah, you can see the mold damage. It's really frustrating. It started right here, tunneled all the way up underneath the edge, and went all the way that way. And every day I come out here and something's messed up by that mole. It's really frustrating. Just don't know what to do anymore. There's big, huge raised up areas right here all around my blueberry bush, or my pinkberry bush. Just everywhere. All up over there. And you know, I hear they're after the worms. And they're my worms. I need the worms in the soil. I want the worm castings and stuff, and it's just very irritating to see something come in and getting my worms and making a mess for me to clean up almost on a daily basis. So if you guys know of anything that works against moles, let me know. More coneflower. That's my rant for the day. I have a vendetta against moles. So these are all doing really good. I love this nasturtium. This was a volunteer out of the compost pile, and it was the only one of this color that came out. How pretty is that? That looks like something actually took a bite out of that nasturtium leaf. So we've got some basil in here. We've got beets. Let's see how the beets are doing. Let's see if I can get down in there. I planted 4 beets to a cell, and I heard that they just push each other out of the way, which looks like what they're doing. And then you just pick the biggest one, leave the rest, and then they'll continue to get bigger. So I'm following a method after Charles Dowding. He's another YouTuber, and this is how he does it. And I figured my way wasn't working very well, so I'm going to try his way. So you see that? See that one popping up right there? That big one right there? I would pick that one first, and then leave the rest, and then they'll have more room to turn into bigger beets. Same thing with this one here. That one right there is ready to pick. And I'm going to be pickling these. Another volunteer tomato. I need to stake that guy up. We've got beans all the way up the trellis. And the grape is doing really good. Actually I can't reach all the way over there, but I got some grapes going already. And they're really more or less just planted for the fall foliage, as you can see. But from the picture, it's going to be really striking. And then I've got some carrots in here. I haven't actually pulled up and looked at them yet. I don't really thin my carrots. I find that it's not really necessary. I think they just, like the beets, they just push themselves out of the way, and you know. And I've got some cucumbers in there. Nothing to pick yet, though. I don't know. Just me and cucumbers. Man, I struggle with cucumbers every year. They just don't really like to produce for me. I'm really surprised at how fast these kiwis are growing up this trellis. I think we planted these about maybe 2.5 months ago. Maybe not even that. But something around there. Definitely this spring. And they're really taking off. This is the apple tree. It's doing really, really good. We're putting on a lot of new growth, looking super healthy. It's got 3 different kinds of apples on it. Well, that's pretty much the whole garden. Don't want to keep this video too long. So anyways, give me a thumbs up if you like what I've done with these raised beds. They're a lot more colorful in my opinion. Low maintenance. And they'll come back year after year. So I don't have to keep spending money over and over. Yeah, I think it was a good idea. My garden is ever evolving, as you will see. I'm always changing something, just like my house. I have to rearrange my furniture every so often. It just gets boring and stale, you know, if everything just always stays the same. I like a little bit of variety.